We begin the show with a special showcase of original album jackets, album art covers belonging to Lemmy Ghariokwu, who created these wonderful works of art for the Afrobeat icon Fela Kuti. Let's go take a look.
I want you all to get in the groove of this sound now. Let's all clap to the rhythm so we can feel it.
The man Fela has been described as an enigma. His music and fashion still resonates within the pop culture in the country. His legendary status has created arguably the biggest music festival in Nigeria, called Felabration, and has hosted many big names within and outside the country. His influences in the arts arm of the creative industry came to bear as Creative Management Temple hosted a display of his cover art as part of the celebration of the life and times of the man, also known as Abamieda, which loosely translates to mean a mysterious being. Classic vinyls, original album jackets, enlarged, remakes with glass finishing were all on display. The man behind these great works and design, Lemmy Ghariokwu, delights guests with some stories behind the arts.
In the beginning was the music. The music was expanding and the music needed an accompaniment. So my art came in to play that role.
For over 3 decades, Lemmy worked closely with Fela, and together they created about 26 albums.
When it came to doing the cover art, he gave me total freedom because he knew I would be very responsible with that freedom, and I did. So it's if we want to say in percentage, he gave me I had like 99% freedom. That's why I was able to express myself in various ways. Even though I didn't illustrate the lyrics literally every time, I did illustrate elements of the lyrics and added my own perspective to it.
Amongst the guests is Raven reality television star Bisola, who has just revived her singing career with a new single, Water and Fire. She relishes the greatness that oozes from Fela music memorabilia.
There's a lesson that should be learned all the time. You know, these days we have a lot of people that just want, you even hear people even say small work, plenty money. Do you understand? A lot of people don't want to put in as much effort. They don't want to put in as much creativity as possible. Sometimes they don't even want to share knowledge that they have, feeling that, okay, if I share this knowledge, this person will take it and, will become better than me. So I think there's so much that we can learn, Fela's music sometimes, when you sit down and you listen to it, it's like songs that you've even heard over and over and over again. When you listen to it again, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting something fresh from this. So there's so much you can learn from old music, from old artists, their work ethics, their style of performance, how they play with music, sounds. There's so much you can learn. And I'm very, very sure that there are tons of artists, Nigerians and artists around the globe who are inspired by Fela.
Fela has kind of become more popular after his death than he was, during his lifetime. Obviously with things like Felabration, now more popular than ever before, Fela on Broadway, etc. People are actually starting to celebrate somebody who is one of the most iconic figures in Nigerian history. And in that, Lemmy Ghariokwu, who designed all his album covers, is perhaps one of the greatest living links that we still have to Fela, in terms of somebody that can talk about the history of the man, the politics of the man, the things that inspired him, to create some of the music he did that has remained with all of us. And so this is just our own small contribution at Temple Management Company to work with him. It was an honor for us to do it, to exhibit his work and remind people again, the beauty and the magic of it.
He used to release like 6 albums a year. And he was very aggressive and very...
Although a respected musical icon, Fela caught a lot of controversies, especially with the government of the day in Nigeria during his time, which led to pockets of police and military brutality. Lemmy, who worked closely with Fela at the time, admit having concerns for his own safety, but always narrowly escaped the notorious raids.
Naturally, what was going on was sometimes bizarre proportions, especially the reaction from the military government. You know what soldiers can do. You imagine an individual challenge their authority. So it was quite bizarre. Sometimes it bordered on bestiality. So that's very scary. I was in my teenage years. I met him at 18, 20 something, like 22, 23. You know, so it was scary. So I had that kind of concern at points too. And then because I love him so much, sometimes when I see him brutalized, I feel the pain myself. But fortunately for me, I would say, I guess I believe in destiny. I guess I wasn't meant to suffer those beatings because I chose the times I was with Fela. A lot of times I would have left before there was an attack or something, because most times it could be later in the night. I didn't like nocturnal lifestyle, so I had always marked my territory. Even sometimes Fela didn't feel happy that I wasn't around. Sometimes, you know, he says, "You are mommy's pet," because sometimes I say, I need to check with my mom. But I'm happy today that I took my own stand. I lived my own life, my own way. We had two different characters, but where we totally agreed was on the ideology and on the role for me to back up that music, because I believe it was purposeful. I believe it was preordained. I believe we were sent for that purpose. That was why my destiny and Fela's crossed. And the purpose I'm talking about is mental liberation for African people.
Means in a power, in a so power. You be special person, but everybody get him power everywhere. Everybody.
Fela passed away 2 decades ago, but he left behind a legacy that continues to influence the Nigerian creative environment.
Everybody get him power everywhere.